Good afternoon, and welcome to the University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences Commencement Ceremony. 8 times a year, the university conducts commencement ceremonies to celebrate the success of our students. Thank you for participating in today's ceremony. To honor our graduates and other guests, please place your phones on vibrate or turn them off. If you must leave your seats, please be considerate of others around you. Enthusiasm for your graduate is understandable and encouraged. However, we ask that you do not use air horns during the ceremony. The harsh sound can be disturbing to some of our guests. Our procession will include music by pianist Brent Hermans. Please stand as the candidates for degrees enter the auditorium.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. I am Joshua Wynn, Vice President for Health Affairs at the University of North Dakota, and proud to be Dean of your School of Medicine and Health Sciences. On behalf of President Kennedy, the University of North Dakota, and the faculty, staff, and students of the School of Medicine and Health Sciences, it is my privilege to welcome you to the commencement exercises for the commencement class of 2019. I want to thank Kathy Obregon for being our sign interpreter today, and Brent Hermans, the pianist. First of all, we would like to thank and congratulate all of the mothers in the audience who are sharing their Mother's Day with us. Happy Mother's Day. To all of you, our guests and friends, we are very pleased that you are here. At this time, I would like to introduce the individuals on the platform. I would ask each to stand and remain standing until all are introduced. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. I would like to extend a special note of welcome to the State Board of Higher Education representative, Dr. Casey Ryan. University of North Dakota President, Mark Kennedy. UND Registrar, Scott Carell. Our commencement speaker, Dr. Walter Kemp, Associate Professor of Pathology at the University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences. Our Associate Deans, Dr. Mark Bassin, Senior Associate Dean for Medicine and Research, Mrs. Laura Block, Associate Dean for Administration and Finance, Dr. Michael Booth, Associate Dean of the Southwest Bismarck Campus, Dr. Joy Dorsher, Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Admissions, Dr. Mac Dyke, Associate Dean of the Southeast Fargo Campus, and Dr. Kenneth Ruitt, Associate Dean for Education and Faculty Affairs. Our Assistant Deans, Dr. Patrick Carr, Assistant Dean for Faculty Development and Director of Education Resources. Dr. Scott Knutson, Assistant Dean of the Northwest Minot Campus. Dr. Stephen Tingley, Assistant Dean for Medical Accreditation and Chief Medical Accreditation Officer. Dr. Susan Zaleski, Assistant Dean of the Northeast Grand Forks Campus, and our Faculty Flag Marshal, Dr. Jonathan Geiger, Chester Fritz Distinguished Professor, Department of Biomedical Sciences. Also on stage are the chairs of our clinical science departments. The clinical science chairs are Dr. Dinesh Bandy, Internal Medicine, Dr. Ted Fogarty, Radiology, Dr. Donald Jurovich, Geriatrics, Dr. Jiaoxin Liu, Neurology, Dr. Dennis Lutz, OBGYN, Dr. Andrew McLean, Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences, Dr. David Schmitz, Family and Community Medicine, Dr. Mary Ann Sens, Pathology, and Dr. Robert Sticker of Surgery. Dr. John Solberg, Emergency Medicine, and Dr. Chris Tiongson in Pediatrics could not be with us today. And Michelle Montgomery, Wellness Advocate for Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences, who will announce the graduates as they come forward for their degrees and hoods. We are honored to have several other special guests in attendance in the audience at today's commencement ceremony. Please join me in welcoming my wife, Dr. Susan Farkash. Also, please join me in welcoming Dr. Fidel Namur, President of the North Dakota Medical Association. I would now like to invite Dr. Casey Ryan to bring greetings from the State Board of Higher Education. Dr. Ryan.
Dean Nguyen, thank you. President Kennedy, distinguished staff, and lucky students. Your families are blessed today. It's a huge event. State Higher Ed Board, and myself personally, I've only been on the board now about almost 2 years. I love the medical school because it brings so much to the state, and I think that you don't maybe realize it as students, but what we want is for you to finish your career and come back to North Dakota. So we hope it works that way. So today you get your opportunity, you get your MD degree, and for you it opens many doors. Now the next door it opens for you is your residency, which no doubt your anxiety level is probably fairly low right now, but probably the end of June it'll go up a little bit. But trust me, you've been well trained, you're ready for it. The other door that it opens today is for your families, because now you people will be getting phone calls from all of your relatives about their latest rash, whatever is bothering them, and, you know, wing it. You're a doctor. So the beauty of going from medical school to residency is that you're not graded the same way. There's no bell curve. And every one of you can be an outstanding physician or an excellent physician. But the biggest factor in limiting you to become excellent will probably be personal choices. And will come along with time. You'll know what I'm talking about. But one of the things that you learn, and I'm going to give you almost 40 years of being in medicine, which I will have in July. That's after I finish my residency. Your success is probably 10 to 20% based on knowledge. So it's not how smart you are. It's really about how nice are you? How are you as a person? And that's how you'll find out with time. If you're nice to nurses, they'll be nice to you. If you're not nice to nurses, they may call you at 3 in the morning. So I'm going to give you a 2-minute course on something I don't think you got in medical school. You might have gotten it if you spent some time with me. So your success, I'm going to give you 8 points, and it will be based on these 8 points, and this is how to become a better person. Number 1, you have to develop a value system. Presumably, you've already done that. Honesty has to be a huge piece of that value system, but you put other things in there, character, integrity, and it's very, very important. And you need to stay within your boundaries and your value system. Number 2, admit your mistakes. If any of you ever say, I've never made a mistake, then you're not telling the truth, because we all make mistakes. What we hope in medicine is that we don't all make the mistake at the same time on the same day with the same person. So we all help each other out. And if you make a mistake and it's appropriate, apologize. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. That's part of medicine. Smile. Be nice. Listen. Have a good attitude and make a difference to yourself and to your patients every day. And number 8, work smart, don't show off. So nice always wins. And if you don't believe that, if you're not nice, you'll figure it out. But if you're nice and you can be smart, thank your parents. So thank you to the parents today. Congratulations to the students. We know that a lot of people have made a lot of sacrifices for you to get here. It wasn't just you. So appreciate it. And I think the best thing is when you're done, we hope you come back to North Dakota. So congratulations and good luck.
Thanks very much, Dr. Ryan. Good points to keep in mind. And I'll try smiling a little more. Today, almost half of the physicians practicing in North Dakota and almost 3/4 of the state's family physicians family medicine physicians are graduates of the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences and training programs in the state. We have earned a national reputation for our commitment to rural medicine, and our students are welcomed at some of the most prestigious residency programs in the country. Ultimately, because of your school, North Dakota citizens benefit from accessible, high quality, and relatively affordable health care when compared with most other states. The hope and promise that the people of North Dakota invested in us more than 100 years ago have been realized, and we look forward to achieving even higher levels of excellence in the next 100 years. Before you are 73 young men and women who have reached this point in their lives, not only by their own hard work and motivation, but because of the encouragement, support, inspiration, and love from their family and friends. Please join me in acknowledging the sacrifices by their parents, husbands, wives, children, and others who have made this achievement possible. Would all of the family members please stand so we can recognize you? You may be interested to know that the students ranged in age from 21 to 42 upon entering school. They came to medical school from throughout North Dakota and the region, from the state's largest cities to the smallest. Most of these students hold undergraduate degrees in biology or science disciplines, but others have such varied academic backgrounds as anthropology, biological systems, engineering, criminal justice, philosophy, music, and international studies. Their varied background and interests, talents, and hobbies have helped to prepare them to be good physicians and will serve them well as they move into their professional careers. The vast majority of the class received one of their top choices for residency training after medical school. Our students will continue their education for at least 3 additional years of training. They are moving on for training in North Dakota as well as the finest institutions throughout the United States. These graduates will be moving east to the esteemed programs such as the Mayo School of Graduate Medical Education. They will be found at the universities of California, Minnesota, Illinois, Nebraska, Ohio, Michigan, and North Dakota. For those of you who are going out of state, I second the suggestion of Dr. Ryan that we invite you to come back to North Dakota to practice after you finish your residency training. Members of the graduating class are allowed to have faculty or family physician mentors of their choice participating in the hooding process. Several of the graduates have elected to do so, and you will see this happen as the degrees are conferred and hoods placed. The names of the hooding mentors are listed in your program. At this time, I would like to recognize several honored faculty members In large measure, the quality of our medical education program is dependent on the many physicians throughout the state who serve as volunteer faculty members. They have added and incorporated this activity into their daily medical practice and welcomed our medical students to learn from them and their patients. North Dakota is fortunate to have a larger proportion of physicians in the state on our voluntary faculty rolls than any other state in the country. More than 2 out of 3 of all the doctors across North Dakota have a clinical faculty appointment at your UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences. The school honors some of these faculty members with the Dean's Special Recognition Award for outstanding volunteer faculty. These individuals have gone above and beyond the call of duty in giving our students the benefit of their time, experience, knowledge, and wisdom gained from years of caring for patients. For example, they have served as, by example, they have served as superior role models and encouraged our students to define and adopt the highest standards of medical service. It is my pleasure to present the following volunteers with the Dean's Recognition Award for Outstanding Voluntary Faculty. I would ask them to come forward when I call their name. Dr. Jonathan Haug, Clinical Assistant Professor of Surgery. Dr. Tessa Marburger, Clinical Assistant Professor of Neurology. I would also like to acknowledge the other outstanding volunteers who could not attend today. Dr. Heather Bedell, Clinical Assistant Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Dr. Timothy Bedell, Clinical Assistant Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Dr. Amir Kichlu, Clinical Assistant Professor of Internal Medicine. Dr. Bradley Kohotek, Clinical Assistant Professor of Psychiatry and Behavioral Science. Dr. Carol Kremens, Clinical Assistant Professor of Internal Medicine. Dr. Alan Ross, Clinical Assistant Professor of Family and Community Medicine, and Dr. Christina Tello Shurseth, Clinical Assistant Professor of Radiology. The graduating class selected the following outstanding physician teachers who were recognized earlier at the awards luncheon. I would ask them to stand now if you are in attendance. Dr. Aaron Chalmers, Clinical Assistant Professor of Surgery on the Bismarck campus. Dr. Michael Trainer, Clinical Professor of Surgery, Fargo campus. Dr. Robin Severud, Clinical Assistant Professor of Surgery, Grand Forks campus. And Dr. Paul Olson, Clinical Assistant Professor of Family and Community Medicine, Minot campus. Congratulations to each of you for the recognition and honor you received, and thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Walter Kemp, our keynote speaker. The keynote speaker at Commencement is selected by the members of the graduating class, and we are delighted that he has accepted their invitation. Dr. Kemp is an associate professor of pathology at the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences. He has received several awards of recognition from our students, including Outstanding Teacher Award, Golden Apple Award, and the Portrait Award. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Walter Kemp as the school's commencement keynote speaker. Dr. Kemp.
Thank you, Dean Nguyen. First of all, thank you to all who are in attendance, President Kennedy, Dean Nguyen, all the faculty, all the family and friends. This is a great group of students, and they're very worthy of your support. To the class of 2019, you have many excellent physician role models and other well-qualified individuals to choose from, but you chose me to give your commencement speech, and for that, I am very highly honored. I feel a strong connection to your class, and I will always look at the opportunity that I had to teach you as a significant and positive portion of my career. All I can say is thank you for the privilege to address you today. This is the greatest honor ever bestowed upon me, and coming from your class, it means even more. One thing about today is I do not have slides to use as a crutch, no pathology, no Montana, and no Scotland, but I do have some notes. Also, I promise to speak slowly. For all of those of you who are watching via video at home, you will be able to play me back at 2 times normal speed. So first of all, I want to start with a story. I was PCL facilitator for Sean Johnson during his first year and other students. Sean introduced me to his friends Theo and Mitch. One day I ran to Mitch a couple months later in the bookstore, and he remembered me, but I did not remember him. And I said, I apologize. He said, that's okay, I'm just a medical student. And I said, no, I will know your name next year. One thing about it is that stuck with me, because I would never want a student of mine to think that they were just a medical student. So I would like to say a few thank yous to members of the class. I will mention some of you, but not all of you, and for that I apologize. But please know that the education of each and every one of you was important to me. By saying these thank yous, it is my way of letting the guests attending today, all the parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, spouses, friends, cousins know that you were never just medical students number 1 through number 73 for me, but instead individuals that I was privileged to work with. I hope these examples show that I truly saw each of you as a person and not just a nameless face in the Friday TBL crowd, and that I do very much value the lessons I learned from you and the gestures you made toward me. Some of these are professional, some of these are personal, but they all mean something to me. First of all, Sean Johnson, Mitch, Theo, and Jared, thank you very much for meeting with me and helping me with my teaching. I still keep the sheet of notes you gave me on my stack of valuable stuff, never to be thrown away. Allie, thank you very much for promoting and pushing the autopsy observation program. I think we had 35 students in your class attend, and we're up to about 59 of the students who are attending. It's been a great success. Spencer, thank you for showing me that sometimes it's important for a person to stand up and say something. It's hard for an introvert like me to do that, but it's a lot easier when I have a good example. For those that attended my reviews, Rachel, Brenna, many other people, thank you for shouting out answers. Emily, I'm always going to remember the fact that you got the disseminated intravascular coagulation due to sepsis correct. That's one of my favorite images. And Zach Staskowitz, I always appreciate your vocal, confident, and quite often correct answers. And Neil, after I showed the fluorescent green colon, wondering what it might be just for fun, you went and found me the article that said what it was. Allie, Jared, and Janet, you represented me in the Department of Pathology very well at the National Association of Medical Examiners meeting. And Mitch, you did the same at the American Academy of Forensic Science. Mitch, you not only won the award, but also just, you know, it's not all that easy to get a group of forensic pathologists to laugh. And Rory, even though we did not attend the meeting together, I did enjoy writing the paper with you. Sean, Henley, and Alex, I very much admire and thank you for your honesty and integrity. And Sean, I was very pleased when your class gave you the Group Leadership and Professionalism Award at the end of your second year. Emily, Casey Goodyear, Alyssa, Annie, Bo, and Spencer, thank you very much for taking the rotation with us. I very much enjoyed working with you for the month, talking with you, and interacting outside of the lecture hall. Kadra, you emailed me one question. It was over something I didn't teach that actually meant a lot to me. It meant that you trusted me as a faculty to get you the answer instead of just saying, go see so-and-so. Hoda, I have to say, some of the most kind and gracious emails I ever received were from you. Morgan, although we also have the Montana connection, thank you very much for volunteering as the chairman for the learning community. That really helped me a lot. Shauna, we also have a Montana connection. Thank you very much for the USMLE information that you gave me. I will use that in the years ahead. Tyson, Matthew, Connor, David, Lee, Zach Elliott, Lexus, Brooke, and Kristen. I just have to say I had one or more conversations with some of you. I didn't have anything specific, but I think you just always made me feel comfortable. And the whole class did that. When you talked to me in the hall, gave my name, everything like that, it meant a lot to me. Dylan Torgerson, I really thank you for your enjoyment of histology. I wish we could have got you to go into pathology, but I am sure you will do very well as a family practitioner. Kate, Quinn, and Christine, thank you for always being the silently present in the back of my reviews, and also for holding on for the autopsy observation until the very end. I enjoyed the experience with you. And Christine, I'm sorry that it took me until block 7 before I learned your name. Alex in the class, thank you very much for playing Iron Maiden at your winter formal in an attempt to get me to dance. I really appreciate it, since it probably wasn't the appropriate song. I do appreciate Connor in trying to get me to dance, but not pushing too hard. And I thought Janet was very insightful when she said that probably wasn't a good idea to do to an introvert. But it really meant a lot to me. And Elise, Tirza, and others, thank you very much for dancing to that song. Zach Heeman and Michael, and anybody else involved, thank you for the Star Wars tie. I actually have it on today. Tirza, Shanalee, JC, and Dan, after our discussion on Game of Thrones, I actually went out and bought a Blu-ray player finally, and I watched Game of Thrones, and I have to say, after watching the first 2 episodes, I was a little surprised that 3 females had suggested the movie to me. But there is a really good storyline there, and I've enjoyed it. And JC, I'm sorry I did not introduce you better to my mom this morning. You have a good North Dakota connection. I was going with the Montana one. I apologize. Lucas Schnade, I'm sorry I never went rock climbing with you. I really wish I would have. I will always regret that. And finally, Cicely, I just wanted to say I always smile when I think of the email you sent me about watching my reviews at your house and yelling out the answers and wondering what the neighbors were thinking. And I'm thinking with things like bread and butter pericarditis and chocolate cyst and the fried egg appearance of an all good ninja glioma that they were wondering exactly what was for dinner. I would also like to thank all the mothers who are present here, including my mom, who drove 991 miles to be here. She, like me, knows that speaking to you is a great honor. So why me? Why'd you choose me? I am a rather unique individual. I can drive a Prius. I can name all 6 of the bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back. I can tell you the real way that Thanos acquired the Infinity Gems, all while listening to Iron Maiden, Twisted Sister, or Slayer. But I don't think that's what you want to listen to today. I could go on and on about my home state of Montana. I don't think that's what you want either. I'm not a UND graduate. I did rotate with Dr. Rothberg when I was in medical school. My mom's from Gladstone, but I'm from Creighton, and I'm definitely a Montanan. I'm not famous or well-known. I'm not a phenomenal lecturer. My attempt to teach viral encephalitis to you in place of Dr. Hill should have taught you that. As a forensic pathologist, I'm not your best role model. Some of you are going into pediatrics. When I was in the NICU, I was so afraid to pick up the babies because I thought I'd break them. Some of you are going into surgery. I do not have the confidence or the precision to be a surgeon. And honestly, I know you're trained for it, but if my patient were crashing and I had a few minutes to decide what to do, I don't think I can do it. I admire all of you who can do that. I know very little about the general state of medicine, truly. I would think Dean Wynn, Dr. Basson, or one of many other people would be the best to talk on that. So the only reason that I can see that you gave me the honor of being your commencement speaker is that I somehow earned your respect and you saw in me traits that you admired. This is my last chance to teach you, so I'm going to talk about 5 traits that I think I possess that caused you to choose me as your commencement speaker. Trait number 1, I originally said treat everyone as equals, but I think actually it's medicine. There's a hierarchy. We don't necessarily do that. Respect everyone as equals and fairly assess your own importance in life. One thing about this way to do this is learn everyone's names. Very easy. All the people you work with, learn their names. You all liked it. You all gave me positive recommendations, positive reviews for it. It meant something to you. Learn people's names. Another one is don't get too caught up in your title of doctor. One thing I learned in residency is that people can call you doctor and not show you any respect and not care about what you say, but they can call you by your first name and respect you. When I was in Montana, I had the distinct honor of working with Dr. Bruce Beckwith. Dr. Beckwith described SIDS. He did major work on neuroblastoma and Wilms tumor, and Beckwith-Wiedemann is named for Dr. Beckwith. When I first met him, Dr. Beckwith, I introduced myself and I said, "Hi, Dr. Beckwith." He said, "You have to call me Bruce." I'm like, I can't do that. He goes, "You have to call me Bruce." Okay. So Jared and I, when we were at the name meeting, we're playing cribbage, and Jared kept calling me Dr. Kemp, while we're playing cribbage. And I was like, "Jared, this doesn't seem right. Call me Willie." So I went back and I emailed Dr. Beckwith, and I said, "Dr. Beckwith, I know the answer, but you had medical students call you by your first name too." He said, "Everybody." So starting last year, I told the medical students, feel free if you want, call me by my first name, and I hope you all will feel comfortable calling me Willie. The third thing along this trait 1 is one of my favorite quotes is, "The graveyard is full of indispensable men." Of course, the correct quote should be, "The graveyard is full of indispensable people." But I think the truth is, none of us are all that important when it really comes to it. I realize that if I am no longer here, that the world of academics, the world of forensic pathology will still go on. This is a quote that I say to myself quite frequently, and it really helps keep my ego in check. So just as a private joke between me and Bo, I am not going to mention anything about Florida, Bo. Trait number 2, admit you don't know everything and listen to others when they identify an error. Sean, Mitch, and Theo came up to me after one lecture, and they said that on my lecture notes I had said that a boxer's fracture was the 2nd metacarpal and it was 4th or 5th. So I looked it up, they were right. I was glad to see that Stedman's Medical Dictionary was my source of an error, but you guys know I made several during the year, and I always tried to correct them. I think it's important to identify it and listen to people and correct that error. My 3rd trait, keep on learning. I've shared with you, I think, the time when I was in residency where we were having brain cutting, and one of the first-year residents was tracing the motor or sensory pathway. I can't remember. Got stuck, asked for a consult, and he consulted me, so I named a structure. Dr. Burns, the neuropathologist, who's one of my big mentors, said, "Well, that's interesting, but usually the motor and sensory pathway don't cross." So not only had I named the wrong structure, I didn't even have a structure in the right pathway. So my neuroanatomy has improved a lot since then, because I always learn. When you guys would ask me a question in lecture and I didn't know the answer, which was quite frequent, I would go find the answer. So do that. Keep on learning. 4th trait I think I have, be enthusiastic. I am so impressed with your class. I am so impressed when I was in PCL, listening to you guys talk, listening to carry on these conversations. I would sit there and think that if I was a 2nd-year medical student at my stage and I compared myself to your class, I don't think I'd be average in your class. I know you guys think I'm intelligent, but I think a lot of it is just enthusiasm. And I think when you're enthusiastic, it really comes through. In residency, I attended a lot of unknown conferences, and I rarely ever got one right. But a lot of people said good things about me. Be enthusiastic about your work. The last one is the most important one. This one is, always do more than is required of you. I thought I was neat, and I came up with a quote. I didn't. General Patton said it a long time ago. Always do more than is required of you. My example is this. When I was at UT Southwestern, I did the same thing there that I did with you. I learned the students' names, I volunteered for things I didn't have to do, I gave reviews and things like that. One day, McGraw-Hill called up the microbiology professor, and he said, "We need a pathologist to write a book. Do you have somebody?" He said, "Yeah." He didn't know me, he just heard about what I did, and he recommended me to McGraw-Hill. Because I did more than what was required of me, I had the chance to do things. So here, no one told me at the school to give you reviews. No one told me to learn your names. I just thought that it was the right thing to do. And I truly believe that if I had not done those things, that I would not be standing in front of you today. I would have just been another lecturer, albeit an enthusiastic lecturer with good pictures of pathology in Montana, but just another lecturer. I think those 5 traits are why I'm here today. During our senior colloquium, we had one as we do. I can't remember whether it was day or week. It was a long time ago. But the only thing I remember was the microbiologist saying, "Do not let me die without giving me doxycycline." That's the only thing I remember. It's probably the only sentence I remember from medical school, to tell you the truth. If you can remember one thing I've ever taught you, let it be that. Always do more than is required of you. I promise you, if you follow that one idea, everybody will notice. My wife, Kelly, read my speech before while I was preparing for it, and she actually gave me 2 other good ideas. One of those is always remember where you come from and who supports you. I think there's actually 2 meanings behind this. Number 1 is, I think as medical students, realize you have your family, your friends, everybody who's helped you, and if you ever get in trouble again, they will be there for you. But I think another one is this, that becoming a doctor is tough, but in many cases, your patients often have it much tougher. I have a great example from growing up. One of my best friends from Libby was born with multiple congenital anomalies. He has more medical records than would fill my bedroom at home. I wrote in my book to McGraw-Hill an acknowledgement to Brian. I said, "To my good friend Brian Kiefer, for showing me how an individual can persevere in the face of real and not imagined hardship, and that all the rigors of becoming a doctor are truly an imagined hardship when compared to the challenges that others face. Medical school is tough, there's no doubt about it, but so is being a patient. Each time you take a history, each time you do a physical exam, each time you order a test, each time you do a procedure, the patient is relying on you to have their best interest in mind, and I trust that each one of you will do just that. So Kelly also said there are 2 transitions that are going on today. Number 1 is I'm going from your teacher to your fan. I get to watch you go out in the world and do great things. I'm both happy for you, but I'm also sad to see you go, and I will miss you. I wish you all the best of luck. I hope some of you will return to North Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, or wherever you're from, but mostly I just want you to find the right place where you belong and where you feel comfortable practicing medicine. I do hope that you will always still consider me as your teacher. If you ever need any help in the future, I would be more than happy to assist in any way that I can. But even if you never do, I will still always feel so greatly honored to have had the privilege to teach you one last time. Today, the day of the most important transition, the day you went from being medical students to doctors. Thank you.
So as is evident, there's a very special relationship between Willie and the graduating class. And in a break of tradition, or maybe a new tradition, the class of 2019 would like to recognize and thank Dr. Kemp. So here, on behalf of the class of 2019, they're going to recognize Dr. Kemp. Oh, excuse me, Willie.
So as Dr. Kemp, or Willie, alluded to, a couple of years ago at our winter formal, colloquially known as Med Prom, we tried to get him up to relive his headbanging days to some Iron Maiden music. What we did get out of that, though, was that he said we would have had a better chance if we played Number of the Beast instead of Run to the Hills. So the only gift we could really think of to live up to Dr. Kemp was an autographed Iron Maiden album. But we had a little bit of trouble chasing down Steve Harris, so you're gonna have to settle for the autographs of our class. So.
Well, on behalf of Willie, thank you to the class. That was a very special talk. Will the graduates please rise for the pledging of the Oath of Hippocrates, which is printed in the program. I would also like to invite any other physicians in the audience or on stage who would care to do so to rise as well and join us in re-swearing the pledging of the oath. Colleagues, please take the oath with me at this time. Today, in the presence of family, friends, teachers, and colleagues, I dedicate myself to the profession of medicine. I pledge myself to the service of humanity. I will use my skills to care for all in need without bias and with openness of spirit. The health of my patients will be my first concern. I vow to hold sacred the bond between doctor and patient. I will hold in confidence all that my patients entrust to me. I will strive to alleviate suffering. I will respect the dignity and autonomy of my patients in living and in dying. As a physician, I recognize my duty to society. I will work to promote health and prevent disease. I will advocate for the welfare of my community. Even under duress, I will not use my knowledge or my skills against humanity. I will acknowledge my limitations and my mistakes so that I may learn from them. To uphold these responsibilities, I will maintain my own well-being and the well-being of those close to me. I will promote the integrity of the practice of medicine. In the tradition of my profession, I honor all who teach me this art. Through honest and respectful collaboration with my colleagues, I will uphold the highest standards in the service of patients. I will seek new knowledge, re-examine ideas and practices of the past, and teach what I have learned. Above all, the health of my patients will be my first concern. This oath I take freely and upon my honor. Graduates to be, please remain standing.
The candidates for the degree in the School of Medicine and Health Sciences will be presented by Dean Wynn.
President Kennedy, these candidates have completed all the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Medicine. I, therefore, have the honor of presenting them to you for the conferring of this degree.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority of the State Board of Higher Education, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Medicine with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Students and graduates to be, please be seated and move at the direction of the marshals.
Farek Ali. Larae Beth. Theodore A. Betting. Elise Carol Dick. Brenna A. Fanning. Sean Burke Henley. Kadra Kyan Kalamaha. Brooke Jacqueline Kubat. Jace E. Kuzler. Morgan Schmidt McCarthy. Andrew John Milbridge. Shauna Lynn Newton. JC Marie O'Keefe. Jason Daniel Reardon. Kristen Renee Reedy. Aaron K. Reese. Connor Scott Roach. Alessandra Anise Spagnolia. Zach Tyler Staskiewicz. Tirza Ann Weathern. Hoda Ab L. Rahman. David Richard Anderson. Dylan John Dangerfield. Rachel Grace Ellens. John David Ivanacek. Layla Gasovic. Travis Geyer. Rory Allen Gunther. Melissa Gunderson. Robert Michael Kraft. Cicely Ray Littlewolf. Mitchell Keith Messner. Lucas John Schneid. Hannah M. Schraddick. Nicole A. Stewart. Britta Kathleen Stern. Taylor Sean Studsroot. Dylan Montgomery Torgerson. Matthew James Winkles. Bo Monty Billadu. Mark Andrew Bushaw. Casey Aaron Grantham. Shailene Jean Hall. Tyson Thomas Holm. Daniel Martin Hoy. Sean Thomas Johnson. Alyssa Dawn LaRude. Annalisa Martino. Shanna Lee Elaine Mountain. Chelsea Lee Moyer. Emily Marie Oleg. Sarah Madison Paulson. Alexis Lee Rudnick. Faith Noel Thompson. Mara Lisa Thorson. Eric Thomas Torkelson. Spencer Dane Utes. Jared Thomas Wynand. Neil Wayne Antonson. Kate Lynn Berg. Michael Joseph Dancer. Zachary Michael Elliott. Alexander Joseph Fife. Casey James Goodyear. Christine Catherine Hanish. Carter William Ruby. Jessica Ray Johnson. Janet Ray Jolson. Mylan Daniel Pantia. Quinn Alexis Refsvold. Lucas L. Titus. Alana Noel Vilo. Christopher J. Waned.
Let's give all of our graduates one more round of applause. We are proud of your success, and we know you will do great things. let me just echo a couple of the things you've heard. From Dr. Wynn, we should call him Josh, I guess, Dr. Ryan, Dr. Casey Ryan, talked to you about rural, about North Dakota. I want to give you the first piece of advice to give rural a chance. I never lived in a town of more than 500 until I graduated from college. I graduated in a high school class with 56 students, including the sister of Dr. Dorscher, I guess I should say Joy, was a classmate of mine. She was a classmate of my brother Stephen. And when I was young, I thought as the older brother that when I walked downstairs and my brother was using a big butcher knife instead of a butter knife to put his peanut butter on his toast, that he was really looking for advice from me. I found out that my brother really wasn't looking for advice from me. I had my fingertip dangling on the edge, and it was only because we had a doctor in the little town of less than 500 that I have all four fingers, all four fingers and a thumb on each hand here to show you. That's the kind of passion and spirit that people across the North Dakota have. That's why they invest so much in this medical school. That's why 2 out of 3 doctors across the state participate. The special love and affection they have for this school is because they know that this will help them have the care that they need. So give rural a chance. The second thing is, you heard it from Dr. Kemp, Willie, keep learning. Technology is moving so fast, and actually, if you really care about rural, as I do, e-medicine, electronic medicine, 5G technology is going to really allow more medical care to be given further, broader, but you're going to need to keep up with it. And the third thing, just echoing Willie's last point about be more than people expect of you, be a leader. Particularly in rural communities, but in all communities, medical doctors are the most revered profession. They're going to be looking to you to not just be great medical professionals, as I'm sure you will be, but also to be leaders in your community. Give back, as you've seen the professors here in their profession teach at the medical school. Find the way that drives your passion. Be that leader. You are destined to be leaders in action. We're confident you will fulfill your destiny, and we're confident you will make us all UND proud. Congratulations.
Well, thanks very much, President Kennedy, and thanks to all of you who made this day so special. There will be refreshments on the first and the second floor once we all exit. I would, though, ask the audience to remain seated until we have exited. You will be directed by the ushers. But at this time, I would like to ask the graduates in the class of 2019 to please stand and carefully turn around. Carefully in the gowns. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the medical student class of 2019.